Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles market update. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of December, 2024, and I am Gianni DePoce, your host. It is Fed Day today. The markets are looking for a 25 basis point or a 0.25% rate cut on behalf of the central bank. So let's go ahead and get into the charts here. Today we have the Sun square Neptune, and we are fresh off of Mercury retrograde as well. But I'm especially paying attention to Sun square Neptune today within the context of what the Fed is likely going to be discussing. So Neptune has a lot to do with inflation, and we've seen some recent economic data come in that suggests inflationary pressures are increasing. Now, I am kind of biased towards a positive response by markets here, especially considering that tomorrow we have uh, Venus trine Jupiter, and that's a classical, favorable astrological signature. And we are in the time band for a potential reversal in markets. Even though the Dow has been correcting over the last couple of weeks, we've seen the Nasdaq continue on to new all-time highs. It's a couple days off from its all-time high, but we may see a top in one index and a bottom in another. That cannot be ruled out here. But I think within the bigger picture of things, we need to be aware of the second of three Jupiter square Saturn passages that is set to occur next week on the 24th. And this is the dominant outer planetary aspect, and we're in the central time band of it, and this began on the 19th of August. And so we have the second aspect coming up next week on the 24th, and the final one will be on June 15th, 2025. And this Jupiter-Saturn square is very much representative of the tension between the need to stimulate the economy and trying to prevent a economic slowdown. So the stimulus has to do with Jupiter, Saturn has to do with the economic slowdown. We're seeing central banks around the world ease and lower interest rates. We're seeing a lot of stimulus coming in from China. The European Central Bank lowered interest rates again recently. The Bank of Japan has some important meetings right now as well. And the Fed is also expected to lower interest rates. But I think by the time we get out of this Jupiter-Saturn square, we could be singing a much different tune when it comes to central bank policy. But for now, the getting seems to be good. There's been a lot of commentary how market breadth has been deteriorating, meaning that more stocks in the S&P 500 have been dropping compared to those rising. But that certainly is interesting considering where we are in time. Not just from a cyclical standpoint, but from a geocosmic standpoint as well. And we've seen a lot of, big tech stocks like Google and Apple and Tesla kind of pick up the slack for the rest of the market. And, there's the new theme emerging in markets right now with quantum computing. You have this quantum ETF here, QTUM, and this seems to be a very real trend at this point, and I'm really curious to see how this ties into artificial intelligence. And the knowledge of the cosmos really helps us understand this better as well, because when you consider Pluto in Aquarius, right? There also is going to be Uranus making its initial ingress into Gemini next year, and we're not going to have the exact trine between the two planets, Uranus and Pluto, but this seems to be the making of the futuristic economy, kind of what we were promised decades ago. And we're kind of starting to see these things play out. And even, some of these outer space stocks have been doing pretty well. Names like Rocket Lab have shown some really impressive results. And even names like Intuitive Machines, the ticker symbol LUNR, like Lunar. So that's, pretty cool, I think, considering what's been unfolding from a geocosmic standpoint. But today the Fed is set to lower interest rates. Bonds are trying to figure out whether we are in a newer long-term cycle. We're probably going to have our moment of truth on this front. Sun square Neptune, there's going to be some tough conversations about inflation. As long as the economy stays strong in the sense of unemployment not rising, I think the Fed can continue what it's doing. There is some wiggle room to be had between the inflation rates and the interest rates, but the big thing is to not see unemployment tick higher. Crude oil seeing a nice rebound here. It's been such a range-bound market over the last couple of years, and so we'll see if we get a decisive resolution from this, possibly by the end of the week, given Sun square Neptune and Venus trine Jupiter. And of course, Jupiter square Saturn. Jupiter and Neptune being the co-rulers of the energy market, some important things could be happening on this front as well. You take a look at gold and silver, still trying to figure out some of the shorter term momentum factors, but from a cyclical standpoint, there is a bit more clarity than we had compared to recently. But I think that the prospects for silver look a little bit better going into next year compared to gold. But let's go ahead and take a look at the currency market. The US dollar continues to dominate. There are a couple of cycle scenarios that we're looking at in the euro against the dollar, but the trend seems very much in favor of the world reserve currency. You take a look at dollar yen. Looks like we're in a new long-term cycle in this one as well, and I don't think that the Bank of Japan's woes are going to go away anytime soon. This is actually something we talk about once again in Forecast 2025. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, please visit www.mmacycles.com because that is a great way to plan ahead for the year. So the dollar is still looking strong on that front. And of course, let's take a look at cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin seeing a little bit of selling today, but fresh off a new all-time high from yesterday. Hasn't quite hit some of our short-term upside targets, but I think at this point we are in the phase where the easy money has already been made. That doesn't mean that there won't be upside. That doesn't mean that there won't be additional opportunities in the crypto space, but it may be reserved more for Ethereum, which is showing a little bit more strength today compared to Bitcoin. I really like the value here in Ethereum. And with Venus, we've demonstrated that multiple times for it to be a very important planet for the cryptocurrency markets, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. So keep an eye on that. But that's all that I had to share with you today. Again, everyone, the 2025 forecast, that's what you need to have to be prepared for probably what will be a very monumental year in markets, but also at a mundane level. And Ray covers that as well as MMA's other analysts in Forecast 2025. We also will have the MMA Addendum Plus report and the grain report released shortly, so stay alert for that. And aside from that, everyone, we're coming to a little bit of a break here. MMA, we like to take a week off at the end of the year and reset the creative juices for the following year. So wishing you all a great 2025. You'll hear from us before the end of the year, but that's all for now, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We have guests on to join us here periodically, and we do have some important updates coming your way soon, so I want to make sure that you are fully aware of what is coming on the MMA side of things. So that's all for now, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.